This is a featured UK Talk Radio Top Business.
UK Talk Radio, Jonathan Hines talking hypnotherapy once again, and we are doing our May. Actually, it's our April interview. I do apologise. Our April slot interview with Lynn Mitcham, who's our resident hypnotherapist from the Bournemouth and Poole area. She also works in Wimborne. Lynn Mitcham is with us now. You've been in Wimborne today, haven't you, Lynn? And you've had
I have.
Quite an interesting day.
Yes, yeah.
And we've got something completely new that you're going to be talking about in just a few moments. But first of all, Lynn, great to have you on again. Could you just recap on your particular speciality, which I always love hearing about?
That is the hypnogastric band, yes, yeah. I help a lot of people with weight issues, and one method that I use is the hypnogastric band. It's ideal for people who've got more than two stone to lose. Very often they're people who perhaps have been considering the surgical gastric band anyway, but have decided that that's not for them. And they come and see me, and I use hypnosis just to help them convince their minds that they've actually had a gastric band fitted, so that they've got that much smaller stomach. We could say it's a golf ball sized stomach, and so it automatically helps them to eat less and therefore lose weight.
And so it's an operation without the surgery.
That's right, yes, yeah. So it's completely safe. You don't get the nasty side effects, yeah.
And the great thing is you do the sound effects. You put a recording on in the background of the hospital, and then you have the TCP smell as well. You shake that around.
That's right, yes, yeah. And they wear their hospital gown.
I think that's great.
Yeah. It is amazing, and very many of them do actually say afterwards that they did feel something happening inside them. So it's really good.
So although you do hypnotherapy for all sorts of things, that's your niche that you've been developing.
It is, yes.
And let's hope a lot of people can benefit from that in the near future, because hypnotherapy generally has about an 80% success rate.
That's right.
It?
Yes. Yeah. Like all therapies, wonderful. It's not guaranteed, but it is a good success rate.
That's wonderful. Now, Lynn, you've been in Wimborne today. Now, I know you do work a couple of days a week in Wimborne, which is not too far from Bournemouth, but what were you doing in Wimborne today that you wanted to tell us about on UK Talk?
Yeah, I was doing a talk to a business support group on mindfulness and its usefulness in the business environment. Because I use mindfulness with some of my clients anyway. I do an introduction to mindfulness for them, and then if they feel it's beneficial, then they can carry it on afterwards once I've finished the therapy with them. Because it can be very beneficial both in private life and in business life as well.
Why is it that mindfulness, Lynn, is so popular now? It's become very fashionable, and it's a great thing to be it's a great thing to have. As a fashion, because it does so much good for people. But why now then, Lynn, do you think it's suddenly become all the rage?
That's a very good question, actually. Mindfulness has been around for thousands and thousands of years, and it's been practiced by the Buddhists in particular. But it was in the 1990s that an American, John Kabat-Zinn, he developed it for the Western world, and he was working at the University of Massachusetts medical school, and he used it for stress reduction and depression, but also things like chronic pain, psoriasis, all that sort of thing.
All right.
Yeah, and now because we can do brain scans, and apparently the normal human brain has one side of it is negative, one side tends to be positive, and we tend to have the negative side of our brains more dominant than the positive side.
Yes, I can believe that.
Yeah. And they say after 8 weeks of practicing mindfulness, there is a standard 8-week course you can do, that can actually be reversed, and they've proved this with brain scans. So that brings the positivity to the fore, which is great. And it does help us. It helps us a lot. And then in the 70s, mindfulness was brought over to this country by Mark Williams at, I think, the University of Oxford. And you can actually now get a degree in mindfulness if you want to take it that far.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Really?
But, I mean, it has been proved to be beneficial, so it's now accepted by the NHS. I mean, the NHS website describes it as an evidence-based step for better mental health. And it's paying more attention to the present moment. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's to you pay more attention to your own thoughts and feelings and emotions, and that actually improves your mental well-being. The government did some research on it as well, and they issued their report in 2014, and they felt that it should be used more across the whole country in both private and public life, as a result of which it is now used. I mean, lots of companies use it, though admittedly tends to be more American companies, like Google uses it, Apple, or who else is it? I mean, there's loads of them, but in this country, we have the let me see, the Transport for London and the Department of Health. They use mindfulness. Really? Yep, they do. And BT's Wellbeing Advisor, she said at one time that the company's goal is sustainable growth. I mean, this is from a business point of view, obviously, but BT's goal is a sustainable growth. And to do that, you need a resilient workforce, because a resilient workforce is necessary to build a resilient business, and mindfulness can help with that. Because it makes people, it enables people to concentrate more, and to become more creative and innovative, and make better decisions, really. And they say that these workforces where mindfulness is used tend to be a happier workforce. So you don't get so much turnover of staff, you don't get so much conflict, because often some workplaces there's a lot of conflict that goes on. And it's because people are more emotionally mature, and they cope better with the stress as well.
So is it being more part of it? Is it self-awareness? So being more aware of exactly what's going on in that moment?
Yes.
You know, slowing down your thoughts, being aware of more aware of what you're thinking, how you're feeling, all the sounds and everything going on around you. That's right, yes. Yeah. A lot of us just, we're so busy doing that we forget that we should be being as well. And we just rush from one thing to another, and we don't really pay an awful lot of attention to what is going on around us, the world around us. And it is good every now and then to just stop and really, concentrate on how you're feeling at that moment, but be non-judgmental. Just accept the way you're feeling, the way your body's feeling, but also concentrate on things around you. One of the exercises I did this morning was I asked people to take a sultana, just hold it in their palm of their hand, and just really look at it. And then once they'd really looked at it for a while, I asked them to rub it between their fingers and hold it up to their ear. Did you know, Jonathan, sultanas make a noise? Right. It's quite fascinating. And then they put it in their mouth and just hold it on their tongue and just roll it around on the tongue and really feel it. And only after they've done that do I ask them to bite into it. At which point your taste buds almost explode with the sensation, the taste. Yes. And that's just one sultana. And I mean, how often or when was the last time that any of us really looked at anything that closely? And that's part of mindfulness. There's a lot more to it than that, but yeah. So just tuning in more to what's around you, what's happening in that moment. So being in the present. Yeah. A lot of us worry a lot about what's happened in the past, which is, it's in the past. Whatever happened in the past is we can't do anything about it because it's in the past. And then we also worry about things that might happen in the future. And a lot of them never do happen, but we worry about them. And we actually don't appreciate the present. We're not in the present very much at all, which is ultimately it's bad for our mental health. So, needless to say, mindfulness overlaps with hypnotherapy?
It does, yes, yeah.
Right. And how is that? Why is that? In what way?
Because it's another method of calming the mind.
Yeah.
And mind and body are very closely connected. If your mind is continually on the go, continually buzzing, ultimately you'll start making bad decisions, and you will develop physical illnesses because of the stress. Stress and physical illness are very closely linked.
And one of the first things is tension, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're stressed, it will often affect your immune system as well. So you then start catching everything that's going.
Yes.
Which is another reason why it's useful in the business environment, because it can reduce absenteeism through illness caused by stress.
I didn't realise how popular this was becoming, quite how seriously it was being taken.
It is, yes, yeah. I think some schools are using it as well. They've discovered that the pupils who practice mindfulness, they're a lot calmer in class, they concentrate more, so they learn more. And again, you don't get the disruption that you get in some classes.
So give me an example then of another mindfulness exercise. You mentioned the Sultana one.
Yeah.
How might people in the workplace or children in a school do an exercise? What other way might
Another
work?
way is a sort of 3-minute quick fix. I mean, I say 3 minute, but sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. It depends on how much time you've got, for example. But if, say, you're in your office and you're getting stressed out about something, you're beginning to panic because you've got a deadline or something coming up, and you're not sure that you can cope, just take a few moments out and just sit upright with your feet on the floor, your hands on your lap, or stand if you have to go somewhere else and you prefer to stand, and then just concentrate on the way that you're feeling. Just bring your awareness into your body, feel how you're feeling, how your body is feeling, and then take your awareness to your breath. Concentrating or being aware of the breath and the in-breath and the out-breath actually helps to calm the mind, and it helps bring you into the present, and it's quite a simple method that anyone can do. And you just concentrate on the in-breath and the out-breath, where you're noticing it the most, and follow the breath down from the nose, down the throat into the lungs or stomach. And then when you've done that for a while, just bring your awareness back to your body again and the sensations, and in a non-judgmental way, though. If you find a little niggle somewhere, don't be judgmental about it.
Don't analyse it.
Don't analyse it,
just
that's
be aware
right.
of it.
Yeah. And then become aware of the space around you. And then you can just come back and get on with your work. And most people will find that will help them to relax. That'll calm them down, and they will then work more productively after that. Particularly if it's practiced regularly. Just doing it once or twice may not have the required effect, but practicing it regularly will help.
Just remind us once again, Lynn, where you were doing this demonstration today in Wimborne.
It was actually just outside Wimborne, Ferndown Forest Inn. It is a business support group that I attend there every now and then, and they just asked me to do this presentation. So it was interesting to do and very enjoyable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And looks like you're well prepared there, I can see. And so, I mean, obviously, as a hypnotherapist, you deal with stress and anxiety.
Yes.
And a lot of people will have already read about mindfulness, won't they? It's in the magazines and the newspapers, isn't it? It
is, yeah. There's a lot of it about at the moment.
Because before we just said, let's be mindful of the fact that, we used the word mindful, didn't we, years ago?
That's right. Slightly different meaning, isn't it?
Mindful of
that.
Yeah.
I mean, some people will have heard it referred to as mindful meditation.
Yeah.
And the term meditation might put some people off. But realistically, you don't have to sit for hours meditating in the lotus position or anything like that. I mean, let's face it, most of us in the Western world can't actually sit in the lotus position anyway.
No.
We just can't sit like that. So yeah, I mean, it does involve a certain amount of what you might call meditation.
Yeah.
But it also involves living mindfully. You can walk mindfully. There are exercises that involve just walking and feeling the ground under your feet.
Yeah.
And the smells that you smell if you're outside somewhere walking through a wood, for example. Different woods smell different depending on the trees and the foliage around.
Absolutely. And Lynn, you work in 2 different places. Let's just recap on where you do your sessions from.
Yeah, I've got an office on Holdenhurst Road in Bournemouth, although I'm hoping to be moving away from there shortly.
Yeah.
In more into the centre of town. But I also do 2 half days at the Alchemy Health Clinic in Wimborne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alchemy Health Clinic, I like that.
Yes.
And it's your second or your third year now in hypnotherapy.
It is, yes. Yeah.
And your website, your brand is Sylvan Therapies.
It is.
And the website is Sylvan Therapies. That's SYLVAN Therapies.
With a hyphen in the middle.
Oh yes, Sylvan SYLVAN hyphen therapies.co.uk.
That's right, yes.
And the telephone number, Lynn?
It's 07798 797 357.
797 357. And to remind our listeners once again, because there are still some people who might think that hypnosis is a comedy thing, and there's obviously they're still showing things like that on TV now.
Yes.
But this is really not what this is about at all.
No, it isn't. No. Hypnosis used for therapy is very different. You watch the programs and you think you're going to lose control, and the hypnotist will be in control. That's right, yes, yeah. But it doesn't work like that. My clients are in control.
Yeah.
In a way, it's better to describe it as using suggestion, visualization, and relaxation techniques to help people to resolve issues and move forward with their lives.
Absolutely. And as we said before, as we said a few times, it's about an 80% success rate. Now that's pretty good, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Might even be more than that sometimes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Thank you very much, Lynn. And I'm mindful of how much preparation you've done there. Are those your notes from this morning?
They are, yes, yes.
your notes on mindfulness. And how long was the session then?
I think it lasted about half an hour, really. I think I spoke for about 10 minutes, then we did a couple of exercises, and then we did a discussion what people thought about it and whether they might use it in their own businesses.
Yes,
so,
excellent. Yeah. And you are on YouTube as well.
I am.
Not just your UK talk radio interviews, but you've done some talks which were recorded and put on YouTube. So you're managing to successfully fight your public speaking fears.
I am, yes. Yeah, practice makes perfect. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah, I know. It'll get better as we go along.
Yeah.
Lynn Mitcham, thanks very much. Great to have you again.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank
the
you.
best.
This is a featured UK Talk Radio Top Business.